And we are live. So I'm actually going to start my entire morning routine other than I could brush my teeth and do a little stretching, guys. And I'm actually trying to find a jar here. I'm going to do my hydrogen protocol, well, right in front of you guys because people have been requesting this. And so I'm like, okay, I had to bring up my other machine up here because this is the one I use for drinking water. So this is what I do. I'm going to pour it in here. And the way that I measure it, as you can see, there's a line right here. This whole thing is 1.5 liters. So this is basically how fast I drink it. I'll take a few sips. I'm not like freaking out and have to chug it in like 10 seconds or anything. I'm just kind of enjoying it. In the mornings, my mouth is kind of dry, so I kind of let the water run through my gums and stuff. Now, depending on how I feel, I'll either have a little bit more or I'll come back for a little bit, but actually this morning I just want more. And so me personally, scientific data primarily shows, remember, none of this is medical advice or even any medical claim because people with blood pressure issues, people with diabetes, people on certain medications, people with kidney disease, you have to modify the protocol for yourself. But for me, science shows that 1 liter of water in 1 hour is about the maximum you can do if you don't want to start damaging your kidneys. I've had just about a liter already, looks like. There's a little line right here. When it goes from this line to that line, that's 1 liter. And so my goal in the mornings is 1 liter. Excuse me. And so basically almost done with my water protocol here. And then I'm going to show you what I do next. So once in a while I go a little over a liter, but you can see the water's right around there. Okay, meanwhile, sometimes I walk around with my water doing things. Let me grab this water. That's the one I'm harvesting today. And I'm going to grab this one because this is the one I got to purify. So I also go through my purification process in the mornings. I'm going to show you that. And there's my 1 liter. You can see that's like one of the easiest things you can do for your health, in my personal opinion, is drink the water. Now, I would have showed you brushing my teeth, but guys, I just woke up, so I didn't have my camera on or anything. And so this is to purify the water, that process that I'm doing right here. This is beyond reverse osmosis, beyond a refrigerator filter or a zero filter or some type of carbon filter or Brita. This is a carbon distiller. When you distill, it cleans your water better than anything possible. You cannot clean it any higher than that. So that's pretty much as clean as it gets. I'm going to have a tiny bit more water, and then I'm going to call it good and actually refill this thing. And so I'm measuring by the amount of water that's left in here. So there you go. Empty stomach, 1 liter. Now remember, for my hydrogen protocol, I'm really, really into the purity. So I'm not against Brown's gas machines, but I will not use any Brown's gas machine that uses lye or sodium hydroxide. Still not a huge fan of Brown's gas completely because that's just not where the medical data is at. And I did try it and it never fixed my issue. So, but if people want to drink that water, I don't personally recommend it. the one, again, mostly the ones that use the chemicals, because I've seen it affect the kidneys. But again, I'm not making any medical claims. I'm not claiming anything for or against any product either. I'm just giving you guys my opinions. And I would not do my hydrogen protocol with pills. So you're going to notice that I do not use the pills. I tried those two in the past, and then I saw a lab report and what's in them, and I will not use those things. In fact, again, no claims or anything, my personal opinion, and the personal opinion of somebody who got to see the lab report with me, who was a toxicologist. And they were like, my goodness, neither one of us would want to take those things after we learned what was in them. So that's why this water protocol and this hydrogen protocol that I did in order to really, really, get rid of my conditions that I had. And by the way, I'm starting this up again because I'm going to make more of the water, because we're going to start the morning routine of making the hydrogen smoothie. Because now that I drank the water, let's go through the harvesting of some of this water here. So you just saw me do my hydrogen protocol, which was really easy. Again, it's one of the easiest things you can do. The things that I've seen it accomplish, even when people, and I don't like telling this to people because then people get overconfident. I've seen that too. But the results that I've seen from people who literally didn't change anything in their life, like they didn't change the way they ate, they didn't change, going out, alcohol consumption, sleep, I mean, nothing. And, I didn't think it would work. And I do think that you could get better results if you change other things. But just this routine of extremely clean water and the best, cleanest hydrogen with proper levels, so right equipment basically, the things I've seen are literally just mind-boggling. They're truly hard to believe. Truly, truly hard to believe. And so that's all. That's all, nothing particularly crazy magical, but I do think it's magical. I think hydrogen is just magical in general. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to make more of this clean water. Now I'm taking the minerals with no salt. They pretty much remove almost all the salt out of these, and it's just pure minerals, which is actually what I prefer. I don't want the salt hardening arteries, and we can do a little research on that later if you want. I'm going to go ahead and I guess I'm going to fire it up. I didn't want to fire it up because it's been kind of warm lately and nothing gets hot, but I guess I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. And now we can go ahead and move on to the next part of the routine. And this is just what I do every morning, guys. You just drink that water, and now we're going to now see, the two things that I personally believe will really make a huge change in your health. And I should grab I was going to say a bib, but I mean an apron. I'm going to stain my shirt for sure. Maybe I should take this thing off actually, huh? Okay, I guess I'm going to take this thing off because I'll put it on later. Yeah, I think the really big things here that you're going to want to do, what I would personally do, or what I did do actually, to really, really change your health, and simple things. By the way, there's simple things that you can do. Now, granted, there's more complicated things too. And I do some of those things. But there's things that we can do that are easier that people just really don't realize. Focus, focus. He, brother, send you some positive vibrations from Holland. Thank you. Thanks for all the thumbs up, guys. That's very kind of you. And it's free. It's so nice. It's free, and you can show some love and support. Appreciate it. Okay. So, the very easy things that I personally think we can do is, one, believe it or not, hydration. But not any normal hydration, obviously. I mean, just hydration is great, but of course, I would lean towards extremely clean water for my hydration, because what I don't want to do is introduce stuff into my body that could potentially be harmful. And I personally believe that there are things in our water that are extremely harmful for us. And I don't care what certain people say, as far as like there's people will say, well, yeah, but they're within levels where they're deemed safe. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we're told that are safe, and then of course later on in time we find out they're not. Kind of like pesticides. There's certain pesticides have been found to clearly be damaging for our health, and they're looking to illegalized some of them and changed certain things, but all this time they told us it was fine. Let me tell you, my personal belief is I just don't trust chemicals. I think I like things from nature as natural as possible. Does that mean I'm going to do it every single time? Maybe not, but think about it. If you're able to minimize, and that's my goal. My goal, look, do you think that I avoid absolutely every single chemical? No, it's impossible. There's probably some in the air, you know. Maybe I take a shower and there's some in the shower, you know. These things are going to happen. Um, and it's very hard to avoid all the impurities in life. However, if you minimize them, it actually makes it easier on the body. Your kidneys don't have to work so hard. Your liver doesn't have to work so hard. Your body doesn't have to work so hard at trying to deal with this stuff that allows for more energy to heal. That's my personal like theory and the way that I thought about things. So then I started being like, okay, I got to get the organic food. I got to clean my water. Hence what I would call, you know, almost like a clean life, you know. You really want to try to purify as much as you can, but I think some of the problem is that one of the things that's going to help us in our health, and again, my personal opinion, this is not medical advice or anything, and ask your physicians for any advice that you may really want. But my opinion is proper hydration, but it has to be really clean water. You know, that's something that I just think is important. And it's luckily not expensive and it is pretty easy. I mean, you guys literally just saw me do it. This is a morning routine. It's pretty basic, pretty easy. And some of the equipment that I personally use, once you buy it, you pretty much never need to get it again. They're quite reliable, well built, American made. If you notice, I don't really tend to choose too many things from China. Well, especially hydrogen machines. I mean, hydrogen machines, I is not from China. I've seen this. I just know too much. I know too much about how they work, and even some that claim to be made in America. Same thing. I have not seen any good hydrogen machine from America. The only machines that I've seen that are good, there's only three. There's, if that's crazy enough, there's literally only three, and that they're all from Japan. But I use the best one because the other ones are not as good and more expensive. Well, one of them is about the same price, but it doesn't do inhalation, and it's just not as good. It's probably like second or third best. It had reliability issues because they made parts of it in China, and even though it was made in Japan and engineered in Japan, they had parts made in China, trying to save money, and you know, and that's the problem with these companies. I wish that's what I love companies that are really passionate about what they do, and they don't want to cut corners. And oh, I'm going to try to save money by using a cheap metal like stainless steel, or I'm going to try to cut corners by using chemicals. You know, no cutting corners. You do it right because it's important for our health, and so you know nobody gets potentially harmed. Okay, so while that's moving along, like I said, hydration is super important. If you put hydrogen water, well, once you add hydrogen to the mix, we're basically on a whole other level at that point because at that point we're adding what I would really consider the magic ingredient. Hydrogen is just, don't get me started on that one, right? Because we're going to be here for a while. Okay, so before we add the greens in here, the very first thing I add is my powder. Now, this is extremely important. This is because the things about being healthy is clean water. If you really want to supercharge it, we get into hydrogen. That's amazing. But overcoming nutritional deficiencies, and that's what I'm using this for. This is to overcome nutritional deficiencies, and all it is a food. These are a bunch of superfoods put into a powder. No pills. I'm not a fan of pills. They tend to have other binders and stuff I don't like in them. If you notice, most of the stuff I use is powders, and I'm really into the purity. I got to see some of the lab reports on these. They were testing cleaner than any other powder, even stuff that I have used myself. That's why I became a fan of it. And then, of course, my blood work looked even better after being on this stuff. And I'm just, you know, again, hydration and basically proper nutrients, not having any deficiencies. This is just a little something that a company sent me. I'm just using. It's just some more minerals and little vitamin C and stuff. The ingredients are good on that too, actually. And then I have raw cacao powder. Now this one I don't have to do. I don't have to use this one. But I put it in there because not only is it good for you, in fact, is that what we were going to read about the other day? Maybe I'll look it up here in a little bit and we can read all the benefits of raw cacao. But I believe one of them that I thought was very important, because there's so many, but one of them that was more new was the potential activation of stem cells. It's like, what? Raw cacao can potentially do that? Maybe. So that was that. And as I make this smoothie, if you can see that the time that it takes me to make this is a perfect amount of time, because basically I just drank all that hydrogen water. And so all that hydrogen water right now is in my stomach. It's going to be going through my stomach, and I want it to be empty stomach. It's a perfect time to get hydrated is in the morning, guys. Perfect time, because you really do wake up dehydrated. Probably one of the worst things you can do is wake up, not brush your teeth. And I know that sounds stupid, but believe it or not, again, you think I just come up with this stuff by accident? I mean, the Japanese did a study. They found out that it appears that we grow some cancer-causing bacteria in our mouth when we're sleeping. So you really want to brush your teeth, and not just brush your teeth. And by the way, I don't use toothpaste because I'm going to be ingesting water. So what I do is I just brush with just water and a toothbrush. Make sure that the inner surfaces of your mouth, so the tongue, the cheeks, the roof of your mouth, the whole thing, you know. And then once your mouth is clean, that's when I did my water, which you just saw a second ago. So that's how simple that is. Now, this is because the very first thing that I want to go in my body is vegetables, nutrients, and there's some new data from Japan, which, by the way, I was thinking about making a video about it. Let's just say it has to do with cancer. And the one thing I will tell you was, if you consume vegetables first thing, and this is right after hydrogen, of course, it appears to help regulate blood glucose pretty much all day long, which is pretty impressive. That's the part that I was like, you know what? And it was an accidental discovery. And I thought, how am I going to get vegetables in my body first thing in the morning? And this is what I came up with. And this thing has become much more than just that. And I am honestly surprised how good it works. And that's why I do it. And so this is the reason that I put all these greens. Greens have all, I mean, there's so many things in this, whether it's the fibers, even proteins within greens, the phytonutrients, the chlorophyll. I mean, there's just the antioxidants, the anti-inflammatory aspect of it, the fiber from a fruit or vegetable. Obviously, this was specifically obviously from a vegetable, which is very, very important for us to move our bowels, which is very important to get that toxicity out of our body. I mean, it just goes on and on. It like, there's so many things that it's good for. I mean, we did some videos not long ago where we were checking on the benefits. Okay, so next thing I'm going to put in there. Now, you can modify these. You don't have to do them exactly. Some people are like, what's the recipe? It's not a recipe. I just kind of get what I can. Like, these are good for the vascular system. We're talking organic blueberries. If you notice, everything's going to be organic. And you're also going to notice that everything is basically food. You're not going to be seeing me put in something that on the label will say like high corn fructose corn syrup or color number 40 and blueberries. No, this just literally says blueberries. That's it. Nothing particularly fancy, just a nice root. Anti-angiogenic, appears to be anti-cancerous. I mean, there's just so many benefits to just blueberries. And we're adding a bunch of stuff today. Here comes another anti-cancerous ingredient, according to some research that I've read, and that's ginger. And then I'm going to bring in, let's see here, we got some special ingredients I'm just going to add because I happen to have them, which I don't add all the time, but that is beet leaves. Little contradictory information about beet leaves, but some information is basically saying that they potentially have vitamin D. And by the way, vitamin D is, well, you guys know it's more of a hormone than a vitamin. But I'll tell you right now, that stuff is almost impossible to get from your food. And the foods that do have it are not foods that I would want to be eating on the regular. Mostly because of, I mean, there's numerous reasons, but one of them also being because of the contamination these days of certain foods that contain such a nutrient. And it's just not totally possible to get that. And to overcome nutritional deficiencies is the second aspect of my protocol. This is how simple things have gotten. And it's gotten to the point where clean water, best hydrogen, overcome nutritional deficiencies. That right there, and by the way, and eliminating this is actually a big one. This is a huge one I forgot to mention. eliminating things out of your life that you're doing. See, this is the craziest part that I've also discovered on this health journey. So many of the reasons we have certain health issues is something we're doing to ourselves. We just don't realize it. Whether it's the water we're choosing to drink, the food we're choosing to eat. There's certain things that I just won't even bring into the house. There's rules. I will not buy certain foods and throw my money down the toilet, or foods that are just going to harm me. So I'm going to spend money on food that harms me. And of course, support a company that makes food that harms me. As they say, you're voting with your dollars. So right here, I'm just cutting up a little organic ginger. I like to leave as much of the skin on as I possibly can. But you wouldn't want to do that unless it was organic. That would be a bad idea probably. But I'm going to try to wash off some of the whatever might be on the skin. Even though they're organic, sometimes they do have some pesticides. I've seen, again, the lab tests. Now, granted, they're way lower. I mean, it is night and day compared to non-organic stuff. The non-organic stuff, my goodness, it's so crazy. You can actually measure it in your urine. So that means your kidneys are having to deal with it. And then people wonder why they're having kidney failure, you know, and it happens so often. People with kidney problems. It is so sad. That's one problem. Well, there's a lot of problems you don't want, but that's one problem you do not want. You do not want kidney problems. And that's why we want clean water, flush it out, keep the blood clean. Yada, 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 guys. Do I sound like a broken record yet? Am I beating a dead elephant here? Dead elephant, I mean a dead horse. Isn't that the famous saying? Beating a dead horse? Okay. But dead elephant, that's pretty funny. Okay, let's see here. Mary Claire says, you have one Hydrofix for drinking and one for inhaling. Yes, that's correct. I used to only have one for a long time. And I'll tell you, when I finally set one up, and I mean, I'd got one from my father. I got one actually. Well, anyway, there's different Hydrofixes that I've gotten for different people that I've cared about throughout the years. And, you know, don't like to do it too often, but for people who really need it, you know, and of course, if they don't believe in it, though, they end up becoming believers afterwards, like my mother and father clearly have. What I can tell you is once I got two Hydrofixes, oh man, I wish I had done it so much sooner, because when I have one set up just for inhalation, I end up inhaling way more often. And I like to inhale now when I eat. So I found that to be an important part of my protocol. Okay, let's see here. There's a bunch of other stuff I want to put in there. Let's grab some more magic ingredients. And when I say magic, I mean, do you guys understand why I say magic? I'm not sure if you guys really, really comprehend. Because I don't know about you guys, but I just see there's so many things. When I say magic, it's almost like, you know what? It literally does things that are unexplainable. And they can be explained. We can figure them out. But even scientists, like they did this one. I'm trying. Okay, there was a study on walnuts, and you may think like, oh, are walnuts magical? I don't know. Are they? Well, the thing about walnuts is they did a study on them for cancer, and they appear to have a positive effect on cancer, quite positive effect. Then they tried to do like an extract of the walnut, and they would try walnut oil, and they would try the fibers of the walnut. They would try all these things, and it just didn't quite work. Okay, and in fact, we'll grab some of these right here, right now, actually. And for the walnuts, they showed to be anti-cancerous, but only when they were using them like in their wholeness, which is what I'm doing right here, obviously. And yes, I soak them in super clean water because they absorb the water. And you want to bring that water into your system, not bring things that take water out of your system. It's a trick, and it works really good. And so, is that magical? I think it's magical. The fact that walnuts work on cancer, apparently, on some type of cancers. Now, they don't even know why. So, I mean, that sounds like magic to me. And some of these magical things come from: fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds. I mean, I've read so much of this stuff, and food is, a lot of it is magical, in my opinion. When things are doing things that are just totally unexplainable, I just call it magic. And so when I find foods that can do things that no medicine can do or nothing that we've ever invented, I just find it kind of magical and very interesting. And nature does a lot of things like that. And so I try to apply it into my life. And it's easy. That's the crazy part, right? Here, check it out. We got soaked sun-dried raisins in hydrogen, super clean water. So they've soaked up the water. And they bring sweetness, and they have natural boron. Boron was something I was trying to introduce because, yes, it's good for the brain, the bones, the ligaments, but it's good for what they call sex hormones for both men and women. So boron appears to be good for your testosterone and your estrogen, as far as levels and whatnot. And I did a whole video on it. I was quite impressed with it. And so I thought, okay, what kind of foods have it? And I was like, raisins. Okay, and raisins are affordable. I found organic raisins for, I don't know, $10 for these 2 big bags. Only ingredient is raisins. And I'm getting them ready right now for tomorrow because I just use them up there. And every time I do my smoothie, because I know I'm going to do it the next day, I prepare these again for tomorrow. Tomorrow. I love you. Tomorrow. Okay, so that's why I'm doing it. Let's see if we can get some clean water or hydrogen water, whatever you have available. And I mean, nothing particularly crazy. I can just show you that I'm just starting to soak them for tomorrow. And the water gets really sweet too. Now, I don't dump the water for the raisins, but I do dump the water for the walnuts. And they have oxalates and certain things that come off of them, I think. Seeds, nuts and seeds are a little different. Oh, that reminds me. See, I already screwed up, guys. Oh, shoot. You know why? It's because they're in the wrong drawer. My goodness, I'm going to have to do something about this. But check it out. I got this ingredient today. I really love this ingredient. I've used it quite often, but I haven't lately because I haven't found it at the store. Flax seeds. Flax seeds are so good for you. They did a study on these for breast cancer. Extremely good fiber. They have other magical properties. I'm trying to remember what they were. I just remember them being so good because when I read something, it's hard to remember every single little thing. I just remember whether they're good for me or not. Normally, these need to go at the bottom. I do not like to throw them in here at the top like I'm doing right now because then they get stuck everywhere. But we will try today because I screwed up. All right, I think it's about time to put some hydrogen water in there, little by little. So unless, let's see, what else am I going to put in here? If that doesn't get stuck to the side. Let's go with a little bit of beet and let that hydrogen machine put a little more hydrogen in the water. And let's use these beet leaves. Vitamin D, right? Not only that, they have other properties to them. See, this is what I mean. So many properties in these fruits and vegetables, and just, in photosynthesis and the sun, which is made of primarily hydrogen. Obviously they need light to grow. And I mean, it doesn't seem, I feel like sometimes we just take basic things that we deem as basic for granted. But we can't create a sun. We can't create stuff like this. This is nature at its finest, and it's awesome that it happens to be good for us. Can you imagine if nature was not good for us? But clearly, or at least in my personal opinion, it appears to be good for us. Okay, I'd like to put more of these leaves in there, but to be quite honest with you, I'm not sure we're gonna have enough room in this smoothie. So this one just fell off. You know what, let's do this. Let's just do this. I'm gonna put a little bit more, how's that? Just because I want to. And look how beautiful these are today. They look really great. A lot of times they go bad. I try to put them in there, but I'm never like, a lot of people throw these away. This is crazy. I'm like, are you nuts? This is food, and not just any food. This is super food. At least that's my personal opinion. And I just think we have a lot to learn from nature. In fact, that's one thing that's very impressive about the Japanese. They really, really work with nature in a way that is just very, very impressive. Even hydrogen is, clearly a part of nature. And just using the power of nature, guys. Using the power of nature. Okay, here we go. Now let's go with cutting up a beet a little bit. These are good, actually. They're good for the liver. but they obviously have, I believe they also have anti-parasitic and also anti-cancerous properties to them. I like them because they're crunchy, they're sweet, and this very powerful color. There's always seems to be some type of health benefit from these foods with rich colors. The Japanese have spoken about it in their, like literally for a very long time. It's not like something new, like, oh, we've discovered the color of fruit. No, no, no. They've been talking about it for like ever, like before we were even doing science. It's part of their culture. They would say things like you have to eat with the colors of the rainbow, meaning all these foods are different colors, and they would talk about eating different types of the differently depending on the seasons and the foods that are growing. Really in touch with nature, and this was a lot of their old school stuff. They have some very interesting history, the Japanese, um, especially when it comes to when the Crusades. I probably shouldn't even go that route because that's what people think it's religion. I think it's kind of history, and it was a very interesting one, but I guess I won't go into it. But basically, the Japanese are pretty remarkable as far as working with nature. They really learned a lot of it. They do a lot of you know what? A lot like myself. I think this is why I feel like I can kind of relate to them. A lot of observational stuff um, in regards to nature and learning about just how things work, even health. And it's impressive. They've been doing it for a long time, and I just think it's amazing. And a lot of things they do just honestly sometimes seem superhuman, like and just super intelligence. I'm like, how did you come up with that? How did you do that? And just so impressive. I gotta say, very impressive. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little hydrogen water in here. Why not, right? Let's go ahead and do that. And I like to do it as I go. I believe I've shared that with you guys before, because the water will go through better. Once you start putting certain things in here, the water will not get through. And if the water doesn't get through, it will not blend. And this is going to give it a little time to have the hydrogen soak in nicely to the fruits and the vegetables. Okay, this is just so, dare I say, simple. I kind of wish, it's so funny, when I was younger, I wish that somebody would have shown me, and I wish that I would have been doing this a long time ago. I wish this channel existed when I was sick. Actually, I would have watched my own channel. I would have been like, oh, that's how you do it. Okay, natto. This is a stuff that I do not use. This is crap in my opinion. That goes straight into the garbage. This is just mustard. Nothing weird in the mustard packet, really. They actually showed the ingredients of the packets. But this is what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for the natto, and the natto is a bean. Now, let me tell you something about beans, and I don't know if I feel like people don't talk about them enough. Straight up magical. Did you know that this little packet has almost the same exact amount of protein as steak, beef, ground beef? That was the data I actually got to see yesterday. There's so much protein in this stuff. It's almost the same, except this natto has so many other things that beef just doesn't have. And I'm not trying to talk trash about beef. Beef is wonderful. But this has, special enzyme called nattokinase or nattokinase, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Lots of fiber. It has vitamin K. It obviously thins your blood out a little bit on purpose, which is actually a good thing, especially when you combine it with hydrogen. Again, in my personal opinion, I found that to be very effective. To activate it, you got to stir it. Activate all the good live bacteria. This is super good for your gut. It does not acidify your blood like some other foods would. It's definitely clean, meaning you don't have to worry about parasites or worms or E. coli or anything weird like that. There's something else that's really special about it. What else is it? Come on, beans, talk to me. What else do you got? I know you have a lot of fiber, a lot of massive amount of protein, but and I know you got that special enzyme which helps. Apparently, there's all not just blood clots, but a lot of different things in the body. Enzymes are good at breaking things down, keeping things nice and clean. I appreciate that. The data shows that you're supposed to stir it at least 100 times, by the way. More than that would be great. You can actually see it begin to foam up. Oh yeah, it also oxygenates or appears to oxygenate cancer cells. And that's pretty awesome. And it does appear to be anti-cancerous. So that's obviously quite good too. There's just so many positive things about natto, and they've done so many studies for years. I mean, people are just learning about it, but the truth is, I mean, I've known about it for quite a while, but the Japanese have known it longer than, they're clearly longer than me. This is like ancient history kind of stuff. This has been going on for a long time. And some people don't like the smell, some people don't like the taste, and as time goes by, you kind of get acclimated to it and you get used to it, and you eventually kind of fall in love with it. And, you know, I've grown to enjoy it. It took a while. And one of the easiest things you can do, because I expect that most Americans or just most people will not be able to fall in love with it the way that, you know, I did. And so what I would do is I would put it into the smoothie so that way you can get it in your diet every single day. Plus, look, this is going to give you a lot of protein, a lot of nutrients, a lot of good stuff in there. So that's why I'm going to put it in there every single morning. As long as I can get my hands on it is the big thing, right? Can you get your hands on? I just spoke to somebody yesterday who had to drive such a distance to go buy some because they saw my videos. But I thought it was great. I'm like, wow, good for you. You are willing to go all out. Good for you. Okay. Next, what are we doing next? I don't know why I like to put the bananas in after the natto. I don't know why. I just do, so I'm going to. But the bananas can go in at the end. You know, you can throw bananas in there numerous different times. There's a little sticker on it, so I'm trying to peel this off right now because I don't want to throw that sticker into the compost. So here we go. Compost, banana. That's kind of a small banana. So, and it's a little overripe, which is fine. So I might have to, I don't know, if we have room, I might do another one. Okay, so we used up all the beets that we're going to do today. So let's put this away. And so see, the amount of time that it's taken me to make my smoothie, my water's gone through me, guys, which is exactly what I want. My hydrogen water has gone officially into my GI tract, and that's part of the secret of the what I call, well, what I did to help myself overcome certain issues. And I have found that it's a very key component, and it's basic. I mean, you just have to drink the water before a meal. And it doesn't matter what you eat. I mean, I think it does, but if you decide you're going to have a cheeseburger or whatever, I would still load up on hydrogen water on an empty stomach before your cheeseburger or your Twinkie or whatever you're going to eat. Because that clean water, and especially with the hydrogen, that, in my personal opinion, from what I see on the data, of course, appears to protect you. So it could potentially protect you from certain negative aspects that certain foods can potentially cause. So, you know, you load up on that water first, and then your GI system's all well, nice and hydrated. And now you eat whatever you want. Now, what you notice though, what I do is not only did I load up on the water and hydrate my colon, my GI system, now I'm bringing in more water. But this water, because I mean, celery is mostly made of water. All my vegetables and fruits, I mean, they're all mostly made of water. Now, but they bring in a couple magical things, and that's they're combined with the fiber. They're combined with the enzymes. They're combined with minerals, but I also know that these foods are deficient in nutrients and minerals, which is the reason that I had the powder originally at the beginning, because it all works together, guys, synergistically. And that's really the way things work. It's kind of like the human body. You don't just have a heart. You know, you have a heart, you have a brain, you have lungs, you have your kidneys. Everything works together. And that's the way that I believe food is. It all works together. That's why you want the fiber paired with the minerals, paired with the nutrients. I get awesome absorption, which even doctors have asked me, how are you absorbing this level of nutrients, especially with as little as you kind of eat? I don't eat a ton, you know, because otherwise I'll easily get overweight. I can gain, I can get fat very quickly, guys, just so you know. And it's not like I've never been there. I've definitely been overweight before. And, you know, it's something that is easy to overcome. So I'm putting more food with more water, and then I'm going to actually add more minerals to this concoction of mine. Why? Well, because I know that these things are deficient in minerals, and I add way more minerals to my smoothie than I add to my water. I don't worry as much about the water, to be quite honest with you guys. All right, so here we go. Gonna put some minerals in here. I don't know what that is, probably 40 drops. Maybe 30, I don't know. I don't really count the minerals. I just put a pretty fair amount of them in there. And of course, the ones that remove the salt. The salt is mostly near when you're really sweating a lot. You gotta make sure that you're not going to be dehydrated. But I personally think I'm getting plenty of salt. In fact, if I have a little too much salt, I end up having to. I feel the swelling that happens. Oh shoot! I didn't even check your questions. Let's see if you guys have any. Okay, let's see. Focus. I have chronic sinusitis for 10 years now. Do you think there is a change I can heal it with hydrogen distilled water, power shake, and nutrients? In my personal opinion, yeah, I think so. We can talk about it. I would even do, I mean, I don't want to give you any medical advice. We'll talk about that in a second. How's that? Remind me. Agneta says, what water do you use to make hydrogen water? Tap water? Heck no. Or distilled water. I'm using distilled water. I pretty much thought I showed that. PY says, there are different Japanese natto varieties, mild or strong flavor in both plastic and jar packaging. Does it matter besides organic? Not really. They all have their different properties, and that's going to be the same with a lot of fruits and berries and vegetables. They all have their different magical properties to them, but they're all going to be good in different ways. And so, in my personal opinion, whatever you can get your hands on, whatever you prefer the flavor of. I mean, there's the ones that are more expensive that I actually like. They taste really buttery, but it gets a little spendy. And I'm just like, I just grabbed the cleanest one. I do want to make sure though that they are from Japan. I will not use any natto from probably China. I probably wouldn't. I don't know. I say that now, but what if I was completely outright? But if I can avoid it, how's that? Yeah. If I can find stuff from Japan, I'll do stuff from Japan. If I have to get it from elsewhere, then I got to do what I got to do to get the foods that I'm looking for. So there are many different varieties. You're right, and they're just like beans. There's many different types of beans, and obviously these are a fermented bean, and so very very magical, though. Very magical. Okay, let's see here. Let's pour some hydrogen chia seeds. Chia seeds again, more fiber, more water, more minerals, and protein. Of course, that's the one thing I don't mention it a lot, but just about everything I put in here. If you don't even believe it, Google it. Google how much protein in chia seeds. Google how much protein in carrots. Google how much protein in celery. Google how much protein in all sorts of stuff that I'm putting in here. And you'll see that there is plenty of protein. And on top of that, it is plant protein, which I prefer based on just data. And I mean long-term data. This is always the confusing part that people think to get wrong. I need to make a video about this because actually I have the information on long-term, for example, hydrogen consumption. And it's really amazing info. And I've been wanting to make the video, but I don't know, I always end up being busy and something comes up. And you know what's funny is sometimes if I do certain videos, like the ones that I really think are important, it's really funny. I will literally lose subscribers. Subscribers start leaving, and I'm thinking, wow, this is so important. And then I'll do a video that I think, this is not that important, just something almost silly. And then all of a sudden I'll start gaining a bunch of subscribers. And I find it funny that it shows me what the audience is interested in. And, I prefer to give you guys the good info, but sometimes people are their own worst enemies. So you have to be very cautious, on how you give the info, because I've seen it. I've seen people be either stubborn and sometimes just straight up in denial. Like some people have used hydrogen that was definitely the wrong kind. In fact, this particular type of hydrogen was causing liver issues. And some people were literally in denial. I literally eventually had to prove it. But some people really, really get in denial. And I still have people messaging me about it all the time. People are like, oh, that form of hydrogen is really great. You're totally wrong. I'm like, I don't think you've done your homework like I have. And I just don't like to argue with people. So anyway, they can do whatever they want. I just feel bad for them because I think that they're doing something and they're clearly not aware of it. I've even just more recently, somebody who I found that there is a particular way of using hydrogen, and it has to do with, it basically is not hydrogen, it's Brown's gas, and it was using lye. And again, I'm not making any claim for or against any company or anything. I'm not even going to name any products, so there you go. But this particular person was wanting to do it because they have cancer, and when they started using it, and again, the lack of purity, and I talk about this, and I've seen this more than once. This story is more recent, but I've seen this before with somebody else. It actually appeared to accelerate the cancer like really fast, and I've never seen pure clean hydrogen do that, but I have seen the lye stuff do that, and it's really sad. And I don't think that people understand again the purity aspect and the importance of it. So that's why I always talk about the purity of our foods. I mean, same thing with food. You could probably drink water that could most likely be causing a lot of your issues that you're just not aware of because there's so much crazy stuff in water, guys. I mean, it's absolute insanity what's in our water, and we just have to do the best we can. And I try to run clean water through my body so that way it helps flush things out and not introduce the garbage. And then, of course, the hydrogen. And the hydrogen, if you've ever seen some of them, like watch my video number 8. If you want to see how much it protects you, I literally thought, is this like a guardian angel? Because the way that it acts. But there's other things that protect the body too. There's just nothing that quite protects it like that. But even vitamin D, for example, if you're in a traumatic situation, like a traumatic car crash or something, for example, heaven forbid, of course. But a lot of people don't know this, that when you're in a tragic accident or you go through something traumatic in general, your body will use up half of your vitamin D in less than 60 seconds. So your vitamin D is doing something to protect you. Now, do most people know what the heck it's doing? No. I mean, people don't know. Even scientists oftentimes don't know. That's why I always tell you guys, it's like magic. People, it's not magic. It's just people don't understand. They don't know. Scientists, doctors don't know, but they can observe that it happens. Here we go, extra banana today, because boy, they're getting soft and overly ripe, and I'm going to have to use them up. And it's a good excuse for me to put 2 bananas, because I love when it's got 2 bananas. It just tastes so good. And so here we go, guys. Pretty much ended here. I think all that hydrogen's been soaking into the fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds also while we're doing all this. The hydrogen has definitely gone through me, so now my GI is all well hydrated. I'm going to pour a little more hydrogen water in here. And it's all well hydrated. And everything's ready to go as far as, hey, we're ready to eat. That's basically what my body has been primed and ready for. And so now we're going to blend it up, make a little noise. I'm going to grab the jars and show you a few magic ingredients that I combine with all this to make this thing the perfection that it is, and then dump the compost. I'll be right back. So let that do its thing. And that's my multivitamin, and it's going to give me my servings of fruits and vegetables, and it's going to give me all that fiber so that I can have nice, smooth movements, which is always nice. I mean, so many things that it does for me. I love it. Periodically, I like to stop, let things settle a little bit, because it's kind of weird how they get stuck in there, and then once you start again. Yeah, I can hear it chopping it up right there. All right, let's grab some jars. And we're almost ready. We're going to cut them with a little hydrogen water. And combine it with all this. And a few more magic ingredients. Which are these guys. Love these guys. It sounds like it's not totally chopped up. I'm not convinced. Convince me, blenders. Hold on. Come on. It's chopping it up. I can hear it. All right, that's getting pretty close. Then we'll answer some of your questions. And we're almost there. Sounding pretty smooth. Smooth. All right, so it's getting pretty creamy. I like when it gets really smooth. So I'm gonna let it run just a little extra longer than I normally would. Sounding like it's pretty much done. I am just putting my hydrogen walnuts in the fridge. And you know what? I'm going to cut these with a little hydrogen water. So I'm going to run this just a little bit. And then I'm going to show you the real awesome magic ingredients that combine with the hydrogen, combined with all these fruits and vegetables, fibers, nutrients, everything all together. Okay, and how they all work synergistically. Let's see, this should be nice and smooth by now. At least I would hope. Okay, I don't pour full. Why? Because we still have more ingredients that we're going to put in this thing. You know, it's funny. I don't know why I find it funny. I don't think about it until people mention it. It's like, dude, you do that every morning. Yeah. Otherwise, what am I going to eat? I got to get good stuff in my body. Otherwise, I just get up, pour milk and cereal and Lucky Charms. That's what got me in trouble in the first place. And I'll tell you, the level of pain I was in, never again, guys, and never again. Okay, this one's so important. You're not going to be able to get this from food. You don't even get it in your Purium powder. That's how this stuff is just such a hard nutrient to get. And that's D3 with K2 in its ionic form, which is second best. Food is always best, but you're not going to find really the right levels with food. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to put 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just for the heck of it. Normally I put between 5 and 6. Technically 5 drops is supposed to be 5,000 IUs. I have a very hard time believing that, but that's the claim. This next ingredient is one of the ones that I put already in food form, but I want to get more because I've been experimenting with it. This one's supposed to be good for muscles, bones, ligaments, brain health, sex hormones, and even like libido potentially, and that's ionic boron. And it has so many other attributes too. I'm really kind of enjoying this particular product. Still trying to work with the company to see if I can get you guys discount codes on that. People have been asking and I show it all the time, so I'm trying to see if I can work with this company. They've been like, I think there's been some new guy or something, so there's been an issue. This one was a gift. Chlorophyll, to be honest, I've been liking it. And it's so dark green, it will stain everything. Obviously, you get this from fruits and vegetables. Well, I'm sorry, vegetables. You know, dark leafy greens. You can also add a little bit more there. We've gone over the benefits before. I need to remember, I wanted to show the benefits of, let's see, I'm already forgetting. We were talking about it. Oh yeah, raw cacao. I mean, I know that there's health benefits to it. I've read them before, but I'm going to look for something more specific today. And I got 2 more ingredients, and that's pretty much it. At that point, I can enjoy this awesome monstrosity of nutrients. Okay, actually, one of the last ingredients, there's obviously only 2 left, is an ingredient that all by itself could practically be a multivitamin, and all it is 1 ingredient, and that's hemp hearts. The plant marrow, I can barely say it, is magical apparently, because these hemp hearts, they don't make you high. There's no THC or anything in them. They're just nutrients. They're basically like nuts. You know, nuts and seeds, guys. One of the most well-balanced omegas in the world. And talk about more protein again. I mean, I hope I'm not getting too much protein. This is just ridiculous, honestly. But then again, this is what I live off of. I live off these smoothies. They're pretty much breakfast and lunch. And then dinners, and my dinners, as much as I enjoy them, it's funny because I don't ever expect my dinners to give me all the nutrients I need. This is all about my nutrients right here. This magical smoothie. And I'm going to answer your questions now, read some of your comments, because I haven't been able to. Been too focused on this smoothie here. Let me rinse out the sink a little bit. And here's the last ingredient. Hydrogen. And see, now I don't have to worry about swapping everything. And I'm actually going to shut off the other hydrogen machine because I don't need that water for right now. I will probably use that later for other things. But for right now, let's sit down and answer your guys' questions. Okay, wow. Let's see. Pull up something here because I wanted to look something up real quick. Let me try this actually. Hold on a second. Okay. So remember, no medical advice, no medical claims. But I do want to go back and answer. Let's go back to the beginning here. Somebody was asking me, there you go. Focus, focus. This is for you. Hope you're still there. Taking out my earpiece. Hopefully you can hear me. And let's talk about sinusitis, just to answer Focus's question. Give me 1 second. Okay. Focus. All right, so sinusitis is obviously like type of infection in the sinuses. What I would personally do, remember this is definitely not medical advice because I don't know your whole situation. Something is probably going on with my sinuses if I had such an issue. Now it does cause inflammation. Hydrogen appears to be really good as an anti-inflammatory. I do think it would make a huge difference, especially inhaling it right into the sinuses, but it has to be really, really clean. And then the other thing about sinusitis is it's like an infection, inflammation, but I would also use like a neti. So a neti pot, super clean water, has to be distilled. People have died from not using proper water for their neti. I would use a neti with the recommended salt, flush out sinuses, have a diet, no processed sugar. That's gonna increase your risk of infection. So a lot of people don't know that drinking one soda pop increases your risk of infection, both viral and bacterial. I believe it's for like 4 to 6 hours and suppresses your immune system, all sorts of crazy stuff. Just one soda pop. Simple answer, do I think it'd make a difference? Yeah, absolutely. So we can go more into that later if you have questions. Focus. Okay, Agnita, what kind of water do I use? Clean water, Agnita. The best, cleanest water. Watch my video 388. If you really want answers for that, 388. Look, what's the point of, using hydrogen is important and it's awesome, but clean water is too. So I just think that they go hand in hand in my personal opinion. So. Agnita, the distilled water, does it get warm in the process? Of course. That's how it distills, through heat. But obviously I put them in bottles and of course it cools down later. Blanca Guzman, hello Greg. I was trying your code with my Pure Water website. It seems that it is not working. I would call them, please, actually Blanca, please call them. Because people keep telling me stuff like this and it's very confusing and even frustrating because I don't know why it wouldn't work. Try all capital letters, make sure you're not misspelling. Contact the company, please, and ask them what's going on. Definitely, you're gonna want the code. One, it gives you the discount. Yeah, it helps you support the channel too a little bit. It's a win-win for you and me. Maybe not for the company, maybe they don't want the code to work. But please contact them and let me know. You can email me, uprising144k@gmail.com, and let me know what they told you. Numbnut says, hey Greg, I'm currently 100 pounds overweight according to my BMI. Do you generally eat low-carb diet? Never think about it. I don't think about carbs. That's, in my opinion, you don't want to eat a ton of them or anything. Here, hold on a second. It's very easy to lose weight. And if you're 100 pounds overweight, I'm not trying to pick on you, but most likely it's something you're doing to yourself. You got to figure out what it is you're doing, whether it's eating at nighttime, drinking soda pop, having stuff with processed sugars. Yeah, lots of carbs. This has carbs in it, but these are carbs from fruits and vegetables. They're different. This stuff, you will not get fat from drinking this stuff. You can email me too if you want to talk in more detail, but it's easy. Really easy. Even if you just follow the hydrogen protocol. I never expected people to lose as much weight as they do, and I've seen it. They do. But yeah, I mean, if you have specific questions, numbnuts, because yeah, 100 pounds is too much. And you're gonna feel a lot better if you were to lose the weight. And if you really don't know what you're doing, if you do know what you're doing, mention it. Make a comment, say, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing to gain this much weight. You know, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. You know, give me a little more info. Agneta says, I tried today. It works. Oh, there you go. Blanca Guzman, Uprising 144K. Oh, there you go. Thank you. So I don't know what the mistake is that's being made. Splash H says, does your distiller remove microplastics and plastic residue that comes from packaging? Absolutely. Well, again, I cannot make a claim for or against any product, so I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, yes. Have you seen the lab report? This stuff removes everything. I mean, really, it's so impressive what it removes. I mean, I could show you pages and pages, but I mean, if you look at the previous numbers, and then after distillation, I mean, look at this. There is no water filter that can do that. I've seen them. I've seen the reports. There's just nothing that does it like distillation, with carbon, of course, the combination. Okay, let's see here. I'm really enjoying this smoothie. This is good. Okay, Splash 8 says, what brand name is that vacuum sealer you use? I literally just did a video about it 4 days ago. Go to my channel. I've done a full review of it with a link. Splash H now says, with the high mineral absorption you have in your body, I wonder how you compare to other athletes as far as strength and stamina. Well, I mean, if an athlete, like, you know, whether it's a LeBron James or back in the day Michael Jordan or some newer athlete guy, if they were to follow some of my protocols, I really think, I mean, those guys do amazing things already, but I think there's some things that I could take it to another level. And if I ever, I mean, I have had some trainers contact me, and one of them even did some testing on me and did find that the stuff I was doing was working way better than even what he was doing. And obviously his stuff he was next level. So yeah. But that's a good question. And yeah, I do think I could do things to help athletes be even better. You know, I mean, I am not, 18 years old and, and you got to remember what my body's been through. Okay. I mean, I don't know if I should go into all of it right now, but for me to come back, for me to even be walking, you have to understand the things that I'm able to do right now compared to a guy who is completely bedridden and in so much pain. It's already a big deal. and on no pharmaceuticals, literally no medical issues. Blood looks so good, but I'm not running like 10,000 or 10-mile runs or anything like that. I don't even think it's good for you. Okay. I try to do the minimum with the maximum result. That's always my goal. And that's what I kind of show you guys. Okay, Peter Birdshaw says, your skin looks good, brother. Oh, well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Very kind. I will say I had terrible skin before and lots of acne. I mean, you'd see the acne all over my shoulders. I mean, it was terrible. It was so bad. It was embarrassing. And I don't even have to try to do anything for it now. I realized it was just what I was eating and the clean water and hydrogen. And just, thank you though, that's very kind. Agneta says, so no idea to buy a hydrogen machine unless you don't have distilled water. I don't think that's true, Agneta. I've known people who just use filtered water, carbon filters. I've seen people use reverse osmosis. I'm simply telling you that that's what I use because it's the best. That you have to have the best every time? No, I mean, hydrogen still does its magic. I've seen it do things with just filtered water. I just prefer the best. And it makes the machine require less maintenance and stay cleaner. It's a win-win in so many things. Focus Spocus says, yes, sir. That probably because I asked earlier if he was here. Peter Birdsall says, I get massive phone issues all over these days. Phone issues? Okay. Peter says, numbnuts, LOL. Time to unnumb, son. Time to step it up. Stacy says, hello, everybody. Hi, Stacy. Okay, Griffin36 says, amazing. I saw your thumbnail. You like 20 years younger. Oh my God. Now that's a real picture. And that one was embarrassing. But I decided to finally post it. And yeah, Focus Pocus. All right, thank you, mister. Peter says, smart not to show your face. It's about the knowledge you share, not you. Wise even maybe. Thanks. I'm actually, the reason I'm not showing my face is because I'm looking, the way the screen is, for me to read is better this way anyway. Yeah, but thank you. Okay, let's see. Numbnut says, yes, I'm definitely doing it to myself. I eat at night. Okay, that right there immediately puts you, I don't know if you know that that's one of the secrets to sumo wrestlers, is eating before you go to sleep. That's how you gain weight. That's literally what it's designed to do. If you're trying to get healthy, you actually want to go to bed on an empty stomach so that the body can rest and do like a fast at night. So yeah. So you need to figure that one out. And I know it's tough. I used to eat at night all the time, hence the reason I was also kind of overweight back in the day. And it was a tough habit to change. But the way that I did it is if I ever need something, I'll just drink hydrogen water. But I also found that once I brush my teeth, I don't want to eat again because I don't want to have to rebrush my teeth. And I have a very, very extreme oral protocol as far as brushing and flossing and, you know, mouthwash. And I just, once I'm done, which it can literally take me 20 to 30 minutes, I do not want to do it again. And every time you brush, it's kind of not super good for you because it can wear out your gums and stuff, but you have to do it, obviously. And so yeah, I try to just do it that one time a night. And once I do it, the rule is no more eating, just go to bed. Okay, what else did Numbnuts say? I eat at night. Processed sugars, that is definitely gonna be a problem. It's a horrible addiction that is hard to get rid of. And believe me, I've been there. I was addicted to sugar too. I realized my addiction mostly when I started doing all this stuff, and eventually it got so much easier to not eat certain things, even at night. It's such a habit. And I create what I call rules. Somebody who knows me was like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I said, well, I make rules for myself. Like, but you follow those rules? I'm like, well, yeah, that's why they're rules. Like, no, there's a rule of no eating at night, so I do not eat at night. It's a rule. And if I have rules, and I make rules that I know are going to be good for me. So I know that it's good for me not to eat at night, so I make that rule. And then if I follow it regularly, it's good for me. And it's, I don't know, I don't find it to be super hard, but I do care a lot about health myself. Somebody was telling me, and it's funny, it was actually a comedian. There was a comedian that was saying how over 90% of people who look in the mirror are not happy with what they see. You know, they're like, oh, I'm overweight, or they feel uncomfortable even in their own bodies. I know that feeling. And it's so important for me to feel good in my body, just like it would feel good to be in a good pair of shoes or in a nice comfortable bed or in a nice car. You feel comfortable, and I like to feel that way in my body. It's literally the most important thing to me. You know, all these other things that are important to people, whatever they are, whether it's food, money, I don't know, drugs or soda pops or beer, whatever it is that's so important to people. It is the most important thing for me to feel comfortable in my body. I hate feeling uncomfortable in my body. So I will do everything I have to do. And that's why I make the rules and I follow them, because they're rules that are good for me. So anyway, okay, so you eat at night, horrible addiction, hard to get rid of. Yes. Peter Birdsall says, start doing some push-ups. And beard up geldings. I don't know what that means. Okay, Numbnut says, by the way, if I work myself up to a 5-day water fast, wow, do you think it's best to break the fast with your smoothies or something more lightly? For 5 days, my personal opinion, smoothies. And if you're gonna do a water fast, I don't know if you have numbnuts, I don't know if you have a hydrogen generator, or the clean water, but if you do a hydrogen fast with that cleanest water, it is so next level. I mean, it is so ridiculously amazing. And when you break the fast, what I would personally do, I can't give you medical advice, but what I would do is you're gonna be so hungry and craving so many terrible things. This is gonna taste like, man, this is gonna taste so good to you when you're done with the fast. And just water and smoothies is what I'd be doing, but highly nutritional smoothies, not just a normal smoothie, like one of these. Super, super nutritious. Now it'd be different depending on how long you go on the fast, but 5 days, yeah, it's a good number. And if you don't think you can do it, if you do the hydrogen protocol and just live off of smoothies, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I always like to have something solid for dinner so my body's used to it and it doesn't get just used to everything being liquefied. But if you can't handle that, you can do a smoothie fast literally for like a week. Just these for a week, and hydrogen water. That's another way. There's a lot of different ways. You can definitely lose that weight, brother. I know you can do it. But yeah, no, the smoothies are fine in my personal opinion, unless you've been on a fast for like 20 or 30 or 40 days. Okay, GC118. Hey, Greg, I have sinus issues too. Do you think distilled water bought in stores can be trusted for sinus rinses? I won't be getting pure water carbon distiller for a month or two. Yeah, the store stuff is probably okay. But waiting a month or two is not the end of the world or anything. Either way. But yeah, it's good to flush out those sinuses every once in a while, guys. There's too much pollution that we breathe in all the time. Peter Budshaw says, thank you, man. You're welcome. Splash says, do you have a video on your oral hygiene? Bet it would be a good one. You know, I haven't. I think I've talked about it. It's tough to show because what I need to do is I would literally need to buy one of those like mouths or teeth with a brush like to show you, because trying to show you on me, it's kind of tough. GC118, what time do you have your last meal? Ideally, and this is where I get a little frustrated because there's people in my life that affect sometimes the times that I eat, and normally I'm pretty strict about it. I like to be done eating by 5 or 6 p.m. Absolute latest would be 7 p.m. But somewhere between 5 and 6, maybe 7 p.m., and that's it. No more eating after that. That is the line. That is the rule. I think I passed that just once recently, actually, and it was a long story of what happened. But so that's the thing. If I have my rules and I follow them well over 90% of the time, I try to follow them 100% of the time. But there's always going to be one moment, like I could be hanging out with friends and it's summer and they're going to have different things. Like one of them makes beer and it's so good, and you don't drink beer all the time, but I might have one, you know. But I find that the more I take care of myself, once in a while I can just have a cheat day and it's like not a big deal. It's when we're cheating every day or often, too often. Stacy Wachow says, numbnuts, my pure honeycomb honey. Your sugar cravings will go away. Eat it straight in spoonfuls. So this is what I say about honey. I am a huge fan of organic, unfiltered raw honey. I even have a video for the one that I like to recommend or use. I don't have any discount codes or anything, unfortunately. That company has anyway, it's a long story. Point is, doesn't matter, they got good stuff. You do not want to eat more than 1 spoonful at a time, and probably a maximum of 3, maybe 4 a day, because honey is like a lot of things. It's good for you to a certain point, and then at some point it can be detrimental, potentially. Too much sugar. But yes, it's a good idea, especially the honeycomb that you chew on almost like gum. But it's way better than processed sugar for sure. So that might help you. Peter Birdsall, I knew one of my friends was putting honey in his smoothies. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? They have enough I mean, bananas and blueberries and raisins. I'm like, dude, do not put honey. He was putting so much honey. He was eating so much honey throughout the day, and it was too much. But some, I agree. I use honey, I would say, just about every day. Love me some honey. Okay. Peter Birdshaw says, healthy body, mind, and spirit equals real wealth. I would agree. Peter says, gelding is a Viking term for young beardless men. Oh, and beardless. Brother, I can't even grow a beard. And I am definitely a man. So it sucks, though, that I can't grow. Well, actually, I don't know if it sucks or not. It doesn't matter. It's not that important to me, but I guess it'd be cool if I could grow a beard. But I never could. And where I at in my life as far as age-wise, I should be able to grow one by now for sure. All right, anyway. Okay. Let's see here. Viking. Oh, you know, I'm gonna get more smoothie. Oh, so delicious. This one's so good. I'll be right back. Save some for later. Later, Gator. Okay. Okay. All right, let's see what's going on here. High Country Gold says, I bypass my filter because I use distilled water. Yeah, well, that's kind of, what do you mean? Bypass what filter? I don't know what exactly you mean, but distilled water is clean water. Good stuff. Okay, GC118 says, what time is your first meal? Well, typically you guys see it every morning. Sometimes I'll have my smoothie by, it depends, either 9 or 10 or even 11 in the morning. It just depends on the day, the amount of work. Today I was able to just kind of relax and sleep in a little bit because I don't have a ton of work today. I have a lot of stuff coming up, I think, tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Now let me know, can you guys hear me? Because somebody's just trying to call and that disrupts the sound. Let me know if you can hear me and we can keep going. Let's see. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Okay. And how long do you inhale for? I hear you, Greg. Good morning. Okay. So you hear me okay? Okay, then let's keep going. Let's see here. How long do you inhale? It depends on what you're trying to accomplish and what your issue is. I mean, right now I'm inhaling while I eat. The best time to inhale is actually at night. I won't go into the details as to why because scientists have not figured out. I do know why, but nobody else has figured out why, and I don't want to just give that away at this time. But what I will tell you is, best time is at night. But what I will also say is, I also inhale when I eat. And when I'm brushing my teeth, I literally come up here with my toothbrush and I brush my teeth while I'm inhaling too. So I mean, I'm inhaling at least a few hours a day. 90 minutes is a really nice number. 30 minutes is good though. So it just depends on what you're going through and what you're trying to achieve. Okay. Splash says, your regime is impressive. Really? Okay. I mean, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I imagine it gets easier, yes, and better. And the better you feel, the healthier you get, and the more likely you are not to cave. Oh, brother, I can cave all the time, but yes, the longer you go and follow rules, they become patterns, and then eventually it's my pattern. And when I do something that breaks the pattern, I really don't like it. Like if I want to be traveling to Japan, I know it's going to just mess me up. It's going to be a horrendous day of travel, and whenever I get to wherever I'm going to get to, I'm going to have to really try to establish
a routine, because I have a routine of where I get my food. You know, I have different friends, I have different connections, you know, all this different type of stuff. Know a few honey people, you know, all this stuff, and I'm gonna have to reestablish all that, and not knowing the language that well, it's gonna be tough. But thank you for that. And but once you get it all going, if you're just in one location, you can do it. Okay, Stacy says this is the honey and the comb from Turkey. Not allowed to use pesticides. Hey, that's good. Yeah, the guy that I try to get mine from, really clean honey too. Ooh, it's getting hot. It's a distiller. GC118, what are your thoughts on collagen supplements? My thoughts are save your money. Completely unnecessary in my personal opinion. And just completely unnecessary. I don't use any of that stuff. And in fact, here, let's check this out. Let's do this real quick for you. I wanted to remind me guys about raw cacao, but let's do this real quick. Okay, let's see here. Let's see real quick. Well, I can tell you that there are some foods that help with collagen. Why buy a supplement, right? One is citrus fruits, because vitamin C plays a major role in the production of collagen. Guys, have you seen how much vitamin C is in all the foods I put in here? It's plain ridiculous. Why buy a supplement? Why? Why spend your money on it? And we're talking about grapefruits, oranges, lemons, limes, berries. By the way, did you know berries are apparently extremely good of having source of vitamin C? Raspberries, blueberries, as you've seen me put in my smoothie every single day. Blackberries, I'm telling you, it's all about the food. It's not about the supplements. It's all about the food, guys. Tropical fruits are also good. Guavas, and even garlic. Did you know that garlic apparently has a positive effect on collagen? Leafy greens, there you go. I mean, I put those in my smoothie every single day. Beans. Beans are a high protein food that often contain amino acids necessary for collagen synthesis. There you go. Cashews, nuts. Remember I always say nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables. Tomatoes are good. Bell peppers are good. What can damage? Now see, what you want to do is avoid the stuff that causes more of the damage, which is refined sugars, terrible for collagen, and refined carbs. There you go. Avoid those type of foods. And blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So that was just a quick one, just to give you some quick information. I am not a believer. Remember, if you guys, for anybody who's watched my channel, I am not a believer in tons of supplements. I feel like people are being completely duped, in my personal opinion. It's always some guy out there who finds one little thing like, oh, we can get this out of this, you know, something rather, and they try to sell it in a bottle, and then all of a sudden that's a flavor of the month, and all of a sudden a few months later it's some new product, and then it's another product, and all of a sudden you got a cupboard full of stuff, and all you really needed to do was something as simple as this every day, and eliminate the crap. Eliminating the crap out of your life is probably one of the most powerful things you can do with clean water. Eliminate crap, drink clean water, and once you put hydrogen in it, oh my gosh, I mean, that's just next level. And then this is next level too. But hey, what else are you gonna eat? I gotta eat something. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but hopefully that answered your question. GC118. There's my hydrogen machine. See, I've already been inhaled for half an hour. Let's start again. Okay, what do you think of A1C ranges? Oh, a good A1C range? Well, okay. Let's see. I know that the numbers that are given typically by the Japanese are a little different than America. According to data, obviously, a normal level would be below 5.7. And in America, 5.7 to 6.4 indicates pre-diabetes, and a level of 6.5% or more indicates diabetes. So I mean, if you're just going off of data, you want to be below 5.7, basically. I mean, that's basically what this is showing you. I don't tend to look at it a lot because my A1C has been fine since I've been doing everything I've been doing. So I just don't pay attention to it a lot. And they do check it every time I go in to get blood work. They always check it, and I do a fasting blood work to get a better, more accurate reading. So, but yeah, I haven't done like a massive amount of research in A1C. I mean, as long as I'm not diabetic, I don't need to, I rather look at the stuff that I need to do to get better. And that's basically what I share with you guys. Agneta says, what toothpaste do you use? I stopped using fluoride 5 years ago. I use bicarbonate and end with own aloe vera gel and colloidal silver. I don't do anything that drastic. I just use, there's a natural toothpaste I buy, check the ingredients, they're good. It's like, I can't remember, I'd have to go look at it because I buy a few different brands depending on what I find out there. But I definitely don't do the normal stuff, but fluoride, you have to understand about fluoride. You don't want to ingest it. So you don't want to be drinking water with fluoride. You don't want to do that. Topically, there does appear to be data that it can potentially be good topically, but I'm not a huge fan or anything. None of my toothpaste has fluoride in it. But yeah. Numbnut says, well, I do like my girl's honey, if you know what I mean. Okay. Internet Explorer says, I hear you, Greg. Good morning. Oh, yeah. Cool. So you guys can still hear me. High Country Gold, I passed a filter on my hydrogen maker because no need to filter distilled water. Well, High Country, now I'm really confused because I don't know what filter you'd be talking about on your hydrogen maker. There is no filter. Well, I mean, they sell one, which I always honestly thought was kind of lousy because all it was a carbon filter that you'd put in the lid. I never actually used one. I saw that they had them before on their website. I haven't checked to see if they still have those. But it's just a carbon filter. So I don't know what filter you're talking about, and I sure hope you're not talking about this. Here, let me show you. Here's my hydrogen machine. If you're talking about this thing right here, this is not a water filter. So if you're removing this and putting water in there, which I sure hope that you are not doing that, because that will damage your machine. This thing is a super special. You guys probably have no idea what this is. This is an H-type DI filter. Very, 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 in fact, it's so special, I believe that it's a secret. I think it's even patented because everything in here is food grade. So it's extremely clean and it's necessary for proper hydrogen production that's super, super clean and somehow maintains the machine. I don't know everything that this thing does, but apparently this thing is very special. And I believe just about nobody has this in the world. This company, the Japanese, are super, super into it. So you put the water through this thing for a reason, and it's not to filter the water. So I hope that's not what you're talking about. I don't want you to damage your machine. Okay, Helen says, Davies, all good, can hear you, great. Helen Davies says, how much hydrogen water should we drink daily? Well, Helen, I kind of went over that at the very beginning. You can probably rewind the video. I would also recommend watching video 337. I think it depends on the person. Again, this is not medical advice, no medical claims. What I can tell you is it depends on your kidney health, certain pharmaceuticals you may be on, even your size. For me, I probably drink between absolute minimum 2 liters to about 3 liters. And I probably am doing more towards, I'm probably doing more towards 3 liters right now. Sometimes a tad more, but yeah, probably right around there. Okay, guys, any last questions? Oh, wait, I wanted to look up something real quick. Let's see here. Raw cacao. Let's see here. Raw cacao. See, they already try to put it in a pill. Can you believe that? See, here's what I mean. They try to put it in a pill and sell it to you. I just put the raw cacao powder in my smoothie, All right, so see, I was right. I was telling you guys, cacao appears to actually stimulate stem cells. Awesome. And it's just food, guys. It's just food. Yes, cacao contains a compound called, and this is what I mean by magic. All these foods that have these natural things in them that have these compounds, and it has something called apicatechin. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. I've never heard that word before, which has been shown to stimulate the production of stem cells. This can promote tissue regeneration and improve overall cellular health. This to me would be better than some, sorry, dare I say, stupid supplement. All I did was put raw cacao in here. It's not something that's gone through some weird process or anything else. It's just raw cacao with all my fruits and vegetables. And I don't need to go buy some collagen thing, right? I want to activate my stem cells. Boost your healing with chocolate. Chocolate. So there you go. See, guys? Let's see. What else can we find about raw cacao? Okay, just for fun here. It appears to be good for your heart. That's interesting, right? There was an epidemiologist. They apparently have long established a connection between consuming foods with flavonols, a potent antioxidant found in dark chocolate, and a lower incidence of death from cardiovascular disease. It also appears to be good for treating gut bacteria, the good gut bacteria, while controlling actually the bad gut bacteria. There's actually a whole research thing that was done at the university. This was in the UK, and they were specifically studying bacteria affected by the consumption of cacao and their magical flavonols for 4 weeks. And they did find that, and you could literally drink it. That's what they're apparently doing. See, what do you think we're doing? We're drinking this stuff. I mean, I'm telling you guys, if you were to do a scientific study on my smoothie, oh my goodness, I bet you that the results would be off the charts. Yeah, and I won't go into all the details, but it was really quite amazing. It can reduce stress. This is why people probably try to eat it a lot. There's literally specific biomarkers for anxiety and stress on the body. This was actually done by researchers in the Netherlands. And a lot of scientific studies were done. They were seeing the effect of this raw cacao, dark chocolate on high anxiety subjects. They would try all sorts of different amounts and the way that it was affecting cortisol markers and adrenaline, and a substantial decrease of it in their urine. They also found, dark chocolate is also anti-angiogenic, because a lot of the foods that I actually use are anti-angiogenic. Now, this was done at a University of California, and raw cacao, same thing, anti-angiogenic. So pretty awesome. Stem cell recruiting food. So raw cacao. I mean, guys, are you impressed yet? Raw cacao. It's so easy too, and it's so cheap, and you don't have to, again, I wouldn't buy a pill or anything. I would just eat it. Now remember, we're not talking like milk chocolate where they add milk, they add sugar, they ruin it. No. In fact, do I need to show you here? I'll show you. I feel like it probably goes without saying, but I'll show you. I kind of want more smoothie. I really do like this in the mornings. But this is what I'm going to show you, and I could show you with a bunch of the ingredients that I used. I hate to say, supplement companies would probably hate me, but I use some. Okay, so this is the raw cacao that I'm using. Now, if you look at the ingredients, let me find it right here. Ingredients, and it just says organic cacao. That's it. That's the only ingredient. This is 100% organic cacao. That's it. Nothing particularly has to be special. It does say that it's from Peru, which is pretty cool. But whatever. Good stuff. As long as it's not from China, I'm okay. All right, I don't mean to throw China under the bus. I really do have a lot of wonderful Chinese friends, but even they don't like the stuff from there. So that's actually kind of funny. Okay, let's see. Agneta. Have heard of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. They say it's genetic disease. Have you heard of anyone getting better of it with the way you eat and drink? Let me look up what that really is because doesn't sound familiar, but sometimes when I look it up, it sometimes sparks. Let's see, hereditary connective tissue disorder. Oh yeah, I remember there was a doctor who talked to me about this one time. That manifests clinically with skin hyperelasticity, hypermobility of joints, atrophic scarring, and fragility of blood vessels. I do not, the doctor, I remember he thought that I potentially had this issue. And if I did, clearly what I've been doing has significantly improved my issues. Treatment. Yeah, I mean, they tried, you know, I'm not going to go too deep into that one, to be honest. I don't think, let's see, you bruise easily. I don't bruise that easily. You can dislocate joints, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I have heard of this. I have heard of this condition. If it's genetic, I'm not going to go as far as saying that my particular lifestyle would completely get rid of something like that. I just think that my lifestyle would help almost anybody improve their life one way or another. How can you go wrong with proper hydration, clean water, lots of minerals and nutrients? I mean, I feel like nobody can go wrong with all that. And who knows, what if it's a deficiency disorder? Here, in fact, you know what? Let's see, let me check this out. Come on, there. Let's see here. Okay, so this is interesting. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It could have a connection between a defect in collagen. People with this disorders have weak collagen and not enough normal collagen in their tissues. See, to me, I almost wonder if there's a connection between what I was thinking is deficiencies, because oftentimes deficiencies are linked to specific diseases, and even scientists just don't seem to realize that. I don't know why. Like, they just realized recently people who are schizophrenic, like a huge percentage of them is just deficiency in specific B vitamins. There's a lot of data on deficiencies and certain nutrients. Oh, well, here you go. Tulane University. Here you go. Exactly my point. It appears that it could be some type of vitamin deficiency that is causing connective tissue disorders, such as the one you just mentioned, Agneta. So there you go. What are they thinking it is? See, this is exactly my point. You have to overcome all nutritional deficiencies and be properly hydrated, and then you bring in something like the hydrogen, and I've seen crazy stuff happen. And it's not complicated, it's not even crazy expensive, and I want to see what deficiency they think it is in. That's what I want to see. Give me 1 second, I have to read through this entire thing. And they're saying how it's not dangerous to just use vitamins to improve people's lives. They're saying exactly the same thing that I'm saying. Let's see here. They also see improvement. Okay, so here we go. They're looking at an overall nutrient. That's why they said multivitamin, which I'm all about that. Patients had less pain, less brain fog, even fewer allergies, and improved their gastrointestinal function, which could potentially apparently be connected to all this, a lot of these type of things. And they're like, and it's literally just vitamins. So there you go. That might be something connected to it. Hopefully that answers your question, Agneta. Okay, let's see here. I'm almost done here, so any last questions? Pi Raldi says, hey, where could I see some before and after pics of your healing? Would love to see the results. It's the thumbnail, brother. I mean, the thumbnail, I literally just put a picture of myself before, and you guys can see all my videos after, so there you go. Do you do anything like chickpea coffee or tea? Chickpea. I don't know about chickpea coffee, but what I can tell you is I have some coffee once in a while, not a lot of it, usually on average probably one a day. But I make sure to get organic because coffee is one of the most heavily sprayed crops. I grind my own beans. I use the cleanest water to make it. Really delicious. And I only use raw honey in it. I really like my little cup of coffee sometimes. Let's see, Blanca says, how often do you have to switch the little filter in the hydrogen machine? So the machine will have a light that comes on when it's due. It's typically about 1 year. So not very often. B-Man, let's go Brandon. Well, I see where B-Man stands. Yeah, Brandon loves to give us higher gas prices. Oh wait, but it's not his fault, you know, it's not because of Brandon. Never mind, let's not go down that road, huh? Thanks for the comment. I don't even know who Brandon is. And B-Man says, hi Greg. Okay guys, it appears that that's the end of it for today unless you have any final questions or anything. I'm gonna seal up my jar, which I don't think I need to show you guys how to do that anymore. Helen says, do you think it could help someone with cystic fibrosis? Do I think what could, what do you mean? What, which part of my protocol? Are you talking about the water? Okay, so let's pull this up real quick. Let's see. Cystic fibrosis. They say it's a genetic disease. Everything's genetic to them, it seems, isn't it? Cancer is genetic, even though we find food that is anti-cancerous. Let's see. Cystic fibrosis. Well, here, let me just make, how about we do this? Me personally, do I think my protocols would make a difference? Me personally, I personally think so, yes. Hydrogen, in my personal opinion, yeah. Let's see. Let me see if I can find a little data for you here real quick. If there's been anything, well, clearly it's an inflammation in the lungs. That's why I think inhaling hydrogen would be really, really good for that. I also think, even though, now here, this is interesting. Look, I just got a gut instinct, and this happens a lot, and I'm probably wrong, but let me see if I can find anything before I say anything here. Okay, let's see here. There we go. Okay, well, this was one of my hunches, and it's not all my hunch. This is just one of my hunches. So people with cystic fibrosis actually have an increased risk of dehydration, which then impacts, and by the way, the data on proper hydration in our health is just, it's like a no-brainer, okay? I keep telling everybody, how much water do I consume? Are you guys noticing how all the ingredients in my smoothies carry water? The fruits, the vegetables. I loaded up on the water before I drank the smoothies. All these things. So they have an increased risk of dehydration, which impacts many systems in the body as it causes mucus to be even thicker. And that's going to be one of the big issues when it comes to something like cystic fibrosis. So proper hydrogen water, which even hydrates even better, helps with free radicals, helps with inflammation, blah, blah, blah. In my personal opinion, yeah, if you did a protocol like mine, would it make a difference? I think it'd make a huge difference, but that's just not medical advice. Please don't take that as medical advice. I just personally think that it would. And then, of course, by not having a proper protocol, from what I can see, it's going to lead you for an increased risk of infection, which, by the way, I've seen hydrogen be amazing for people who are high risk for infections. Even the guy who created the Hydrofix, his own daughter had ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and she was getting lung infections all the time. That was one of the issues. He set out to make the best hydrogen machine in the world. He didn't try to go to China or try to make it cheaper, which is why he made such a great machine, which is why I love that he created this machine. And his daughter was supposed to be I hate to say this, but dead by the age of 5. She is way past that now. I think she's like 12 or 13 years old or something. And she doesn't get the lung infections at the rates that she used to. You know, it's very seldom. She's doing way, way, way better. So yeah, in my opinion, would it help with cystic fibrosis? My own personal opinion, yes. Agneta says, thank you. Hopefully that really, really helps you guys. Okay. So yeah, it seems to be a very well-known fact that hydration, the connection between hydration, dehydration, and cystic fibrosis is actually quite well known, which is why I would personally want the cleanest water, definitely supercharge it with hydrogen, and it could be that easy. And I'd probably inhale a lot of hydrogen, but I would also avoid certain foods, a lot of processed crap and processed sugars and stuff like that. I think we all know by now that's not good for us. If you give that person some smoothies, I think even more hydration. All right. Helen says, amazing. I think so. I've been trying to tell you guys this very simple protocol. It's not super complicated. It's pretty easy, and it's hard to believe how good it works. So anyway, okay. B-Man says, do you think TBL or TBI or brain injury can be reversed? Actually, B-Man, have you not seen my video on that? There was a woman who could barely form a complete sentence, who would literally forget her own name. It was crazy. And she got on my protocol and the hydrogen. Her results were so amazing. I think she got back to me like 6 months later. I didn't even know who she was. I couldn't recognize her voice because she was forming, I can't even form a coherent sentence. She was forming coherent sentences, remembering, and I was like, who are you? And she said, I just wanted to call you because you saved my life. I literally wanted to end my life. You saved my life because of everything that you shared with me. I did it. I'm doing so much better. So in my personal opinion, and it's just an opinion, you know, it's not medical advice or a claim. Do I think that hydrogen would be amazing or my protocols would be amazing for TBI? As far as from what I've seen, I really do believe so. And it's shocking to me how there's these doctors, apparently, there's a kind of a weird connection I have, and they don't even want to hear it. They don't even want to test my hypothesis. I'm like, test it. If you can test it and see that it works, but they don't even want to do that. And I think they're threatened because they want to, you know, they want to do all the stuff they're doing, whether, I don't know what drugs they recommend or whatever, but they don't even want to take a look at my protocol. And it boggles my mind that they won't even look at it, because I really think it's a huge game changer, because I've seen it work with, you know, people. So anyway, guys, with that being said, I'm going to assume that we're pretty much done here. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off, say goodbye. Thanks for everybody for hanging out. Blah, blah, blah. I will say raw cacao, guys, super amazing. It also provides DNA protection. Geez, I just wasn't done with that list yet. I really enjoyed that one. Okay, and collagen. Yes, you do not need collagen. Silly, more stuff that you're gonna buy. Just eat right. Hey, guess what? It looks like green tea might actually be good for collagen. Really interesting. I won't go. Yeah, green tea. I've heard a lot of good stuff about green tea. That'd be a good one to implement too. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. No last questions, so I'll say goodbye. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Yeah, everybody give me a thumbs up right now, and we'll double those numbers right now. That would just be cool, just for fun. Let's see how many people are listening. I see 24 thumbs up. If everybody starts giving them, oh, there's one, 25. Anybody else? It's free. It's free love. Oh, 27, there it is. Anybody else? Anybody? 27 is all we reached. Let's try to reach 30. There's 22 people in here. Oh, there's one. There's 28. I need at least 2 more, guys. Oh, there's 30. Woohoo, we did it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. I hope that you guys, Stacy says I don't know how to. Figure it out, Stacy. Google it. Maybe next time. All right, well, thanks, guys, for hanging out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for all the support. And I really hope this information is helpful to you guys. All right. Till next time.